Friends, today we are discussing about the business economics and financial analysis in this particular subject. Today we are discussing about the third unit, session 2. As per J/H syllabus, two variable inputs we are discussing. In the previous session outcome, what we discussed about the understand the definition of production function and the uses of production function, understand the concept of production function with the productivity factors. What are the productivity factors? Land, labor, capital, organization. These are the concepts we learned in the production function with productivity factors. Then the next one is law of variable proportions with suitable examples discussed. Law of variable proportions with suitable examples discussed. These generally, as per syllabus, what we called, it is the one variable input. That means production function with one variable input. What is that one variable input? One variable input is labor. The remaining is constant. What are that? Land, capital, organization. They are the constant. So, as per the syllabus, today what we are discussing, two variable inputs. Then we are going for the yesterday. In the previous session, what we discussed is understand the definition of production function, uses of production function, understand the concept of production function with productivity factors, law of variable proportions with suitable examples we discussed. That is previous session. Then today's session we are discussing about the theory of production function with two variable input. What are the two variable inputs? Isoquant, MRTS, isocost, expansion path. Isoquant, MRTS, isocost, expansion path. Session 2 today we are discussing. Then what is the learning outcome of this particular session? The learning outcome of this particular session is learn the long run production function concepts. In this session what we are learning? Long run production function concepts. Then second one is understanding the concepts of marginal rate of technical substitution, or we can also call it as marginal rate of substitution. Then isocost, isoquant. Then the third one is understanding the behavior of producers, how the producers are behaving. That means when the price of the product changes or when the variables changed, then what is the impact of the productivity. Then understanding the labor and capital variables, how it influences the production. So this is the learning outcome of this particular session. Now we are going in detail the two variable inputs. What is the two variable inputs? Production function with two variable inputs. So far we discussed in the last session one variable input, that is the short run function. Now let us moving ahead to the long run, in which all the inputs are variables. All the inputs are variables. Please try to understand. All the inputs are variable. All the inputs means, what is that meaning? All the inputs? Land, labor, capital and organization. Land, labor, capital and organization. All these are input, and these are all inputs are variables in the long run. Whereas in the short run, the three are the constant, only labor is changed. That is the difference between short run function and long run function. So today we are discussing about the two variable inputs. Then on what basis this particular theory developed? Thus, the firm has the opportunity to select the combinations of inputs and maximizes returns. The firm has the opportunity to select the combinations of inputs and maximizes returns. The firm has the opportunity to select the combinations of inputs and maximizes the returns. Then we restrict ourselves to most simplistic form of production function with two variable inputs and a single output. Two variable inputs and single output. Two variable input and single output. This is the production function with two variable inputs. So far we dealt with the production function. In this production function we discussed about the short run function and we discussed about the long run function in which all the inputs are variable. From this particular theory we are developing the opportunity cost. Opportunity means out of the available to select the combinations of inputs and maximizes the returns. That means the remaining one should goes to the foregone. Then, what we are restricting ourselves to most simplistic form of production function with two variable inputs. What are the two variable inputs? What are the two variable inputs? Labor and capital. These are the two variable inputs and a single output. Please try to understand this particular point. Out of the four variables, we are restricting only two variables. What are the two variables? Labor and capital. Why? Because to simplify the production function and max single output, we are utilizing the labor and capital. So that's why we call this theory two variable inputs. We called it as a two variable inputs, production function with two variable inputs. Why we call it as a two variable inputs? Labor and capital are using and remaining two are the constant. Remaining two are the constant. So that is the production function with two variable inputs. From these two variable inputs, we are discussing about the isoquant. Isoquant means, what is the meaning of isoquant? This is one of the example of two variable input. Two variable input means labor and capital. Labor and capital. Iso means equal, quant means quantity. Isoquant means equal quantity. It is the locus of all technically efficient combinations for producing a given level of output. Isoquant is the locus of all technically efficient combinations for producing a given level of output. Then isoquants are similar to the concept of indifference curve or isoutility curve. It is similar to the indifference curve or isoutility curve. So the isoquants are similar to concept of indifference curve and isoutility curve. So what is the isoquant? It is the different combinations of two inputs that corresponds to the same output. Two inputs that corresponds to the same output. Then it is also referred as isoproduct curve. This is also referred as isoproduct curve. So in this slide what we learned, what is the meaning of isoquant? Iso means equal, quant means quantity. It is the locus of all technically efficient combinations for producing a given level of output. It is similar to the indifference curve. It is also known as isoproduct curve. It is also known as isoproduct product curve. Then we should go through in detail about the isoquant. In this particular theory, taking the production, Q is equal to F of LK. L means labor, K means capital. Quantity of output is equal to function of the labor and capital. So with a fixing level of output, Q at some quantity, we have an implicit relationship. Implicit means internal. Explicit means external. Implicit relationship between units, labor and capital. Between units, labor and capital. So QC equal to F of labor and capital. Labor and capital. It is possible to produce the same amount of output by using different combinations of input. It is possible to produce the same amount of output by using the different combinations of output. So what is the isoquant explanation? How many variables we are taking? 2 variables. What are that? Labor and capital. Then the implicit relationship between the labor and the capital, it produces the same amount of output by using different combinations of inputs. That means labor increased, capital decreased, or capital increased and labor increased. Then we should go through the in detail with suitable example. A firm produces 150,000 tons of output with an investment of rupees 40 crore and 600 labor units. So how much quantity of the output? 150,000 tons of output. What is the investment? Investment is rupees 40 crores and 600 labor units. Then what is the manufacturer objective? The manufacturer wants to know which different combinations of these inputs can be used to produce 150,000 tons of output. 150,000 tons of output. How to utilize the combinations of the inputs? What are that? Labor and capital. Then we are going for the second one, input combinations. What is the input combinations? Point. So we divided into 3 types. What are that? Point, capital, labor. Point, capital, labor. Point. How many points we are taking? Totally we are taking the 5 points. What are that? A to E. A, B, C, D, E we are taking. Then the capital in terms of the rupees of crores. Initially we are invested 40 crores of rupees. Then the labor units is, number of labor units is 6. When the investment is reduced from 40 to 28, the labor is increased. See, 18, the capital is 18 crores and the labor is increased 7 to 8, adding the additional labor. Here in the D, the 12 crores they are investing and number of labors are 9. Then E, the total is 8 crores rupees invested and the number of labors are used 10 units. So that means gradually the capital is reducing, gradually the labor is increased. This is the combination of this particular table. From this particular table, we are drawing the curve shape of the isoquant. The isoquant curve, it is just like a demand curve. Why? Because inverse relationship. That means one variable is decreasing, another variable is increasing. So what is the curve shape? The curve shape of the graph or isoquant is, it is similar to the indifference curve, or it is similar to the indifference curve. In the x-axis, we are taking the labor. In the y-axis, we are taking the capital. In the x-axis, we are taking the labor. In the y-axis, we are taking the capital. Then we are identifying and intersecting x and y axis. Then we are getting the Q1. This Q1, we called it as a isoquant curve. It is similar to the indifference curve. It is similar to the indifference curve. Then from the particular graph, what we are concluding? We are concluding that the curve in graph shows the locus of the different combinations of labor and capital that produce 150,000 tons of output. 150,000 tons of output. Then each locus of the point, what it indicates? The locus of the point, it indicates that A at a curve Q1, shows 40 crores and 600 labor units, and giving the 150,000 tons of output. Then combining together all the inputs, then we are getting all the points B, C, D, E combinations may infer that the level of output remains the same at all points on the same isoquant. So what is the inference of that particular graph, or from that particular graph what we are concluding? The curve of the graph shows the locus of different combinations of labor and capital that produce 150,000 tons of output. Then what are the locus of the points? The locus of the points is Q1 shows the 41 crores of rupees or investment, 600 labor units and 150,000 tons of output. Then all the points B, C, D, E, all the combinations of these points may infer that the level of output remains the same at all points on the same isoquant. Then there are different isoquants. The different isoquants, how we are inferring? That is, it is just like a Q0, Q1, Q1. How it appearance? It appearance like a indifference curve, or we can also call it as isodifference curve. We can also call it as isodifference curve. The isodifference curve is indicating that it is combinations of the various locus points and indicating that that particular point is indicating the equilibrium. That point indicating the equilibrium in the isoquant. Then what are the characteristics of isoquant? For examination point of view, for short answer questions, several times they asked about the characteristics of isoquant. My dear students, please remember the characteristics of isoquant. What are the characteristics of the isoquant? First characteristics is downward sloping. That means it slopes downwards from left to right. It slopes downwards from left to right. Then using more of input to produce the same level of output must imply using less of other input. So that means we are estimating the slope of the curve. How we are estimating the slope of the curve? Minus delta K by delta L. Delta K means capital, delta L means labor. So the first characteristics of the isoquant is it is a downward sloping. Slope downwards from left to right. Second point is using more of input to produce the same level of output must imply using less of other input. Then what is the slope of the curve? To estimating the slope of the curve is minus delta K by delta L. Delta K means capital, delta L means labor. Then the second one is a higher isoquant represents the higher output. Please check in the graph, in the earlier graph. There are so many 3 graphs we had written, Q0, Q1, Q2. So from this higher isoquant represents, Q2 represents the higher output, whereas Q0 represents the less output. So then isoquants do not intersect. Isoquant do not intersect. Then the fourth one is convex to the origin. The isoquant is convex to the origin. So what are the characteristics of isoquant? My dear students, please once again you recollect for examination point of view, very very important for short answer question. First one is downward sloping. How to estimate the slope? Minus delta K by delta L. K means capital, L means labor. Second characteristics is a higher isoquant represent a higher output. Third characteristics is isoquants do not intersect. Fourth one is it is convex to the origin. It is convex to the origin. Then the next topic is, so up to now what we discussed about the what is meant by isoquant. What is meant by isoquant? Isoquant is also known as isoproduct curve. Then what are the variables using? Labor and capital. Then what are the curve shapes? What are the examples? How much input combinations are using? What is the relationship? Inverse relationship. Then what is the curve shape? Curve shape is, it is similar to the indifference curve. It is similar to the indifference curve. Then we discussed about the 4 characteristics of isoquant. Then the next one is marginal rate of technical substitution, or we can also written as a marginal rate of substitution. Marginal, we can write in 2 ways. In some textbooks it is written as marginal rate of substitution. In some textbooks it is written as marginal rate of technical substitution. Then what is the meaning of marginal rate of technical substitution? The marginal rate of technical substitution, it measures the reduction in one input due to unit increase in the other input, that is just sufficient to maintain the same level of output. MRTS means it is X on Y and Y on X. Try to understand, my dear students. X on Y and Y on X. It measures the reduction in one input due to increase in the other input. If suppose we are reducing the X, increasing the Y input, that is just sufficient to maintain the same level of the output. To maintain the same level of the output. So that means MRTS X on Y and Y on X. X on Y means if we are reducing the one input and due to increasing in the other input, that means Y is increasing. That is just sufficient to maintain the same level of output. So this is the definition of marginal rate of technical substitution. This question also asked several times for 2 marks question. Then we should go in detail in the marginal rate of technical substitution. So now what we said, MRTS, the quantity of output, labor and capital. It would be the amount of capital that the firm would be willing to give up for an additional unit of labor. It is similar to the marginal rate of technical substitution. How we can express? We can express in the form of a minus delta K by delta L. Delta K means capital, delta L means labor. Then the MRTS of labor for capital is equal to the slope of the isoquant, is equal to the slope of the isoquant. MRTS also equal to the ratio of the marginal product of one input to the marginal product of other input. Marginal product of one input to the marginal product of other input. Marginal product of other input. So this is the marginal rate of technical substitution of labor for capital is equal to the slope of the isoquant. Then let us see if units of labor delta L is substituted for units of capital. That means in place of capital we are substituting the labor, then the increase of output due to increase in labor should match with the decrease in output due to decrease in the capital. Due to decrease in the capital. So this is the marginal rate of technical substitution. Then how we can written in the mathematical equation? So we can written in the form of a mathematical equation. We are writing in that delta L into marginal productivity of labor equal to minus delta K into marginal productivity of capital. Then we can write marginal productivity of labor by marginal productivity of capital. Marginal productivity of labor by marginal productivity of capital. So marginal productivity of labor equal by marginal productivity of capital equal to minus delta K by delta L. Delta K means capital, delta L means labor. Then what is the formula for marginal rate of technical substitution? L and K. L means labor and K means capital. Why? Because we are taking the two variable inputs. Then what is the formula? Minus delta K by delta L means marginal productivity of labor by marginal productivity of capital. The marginal productivity of labor by marginal productivity of capital. Then what is the curve shape of the marginal rate of technical substitution? The marginal rate of technical substitution is the curve shape we are clearly written in the diagrammatically. So it is like an indifference curve and sloping downwards. Why? Because if we change the one combination of input, then it is increasing the another input. Then what is the impact on the output? We are measuring the delta K, that means capital labor. We are measuring the change in capital by change in labor. Change in capital by change in labor. That is the slope of the marginal rate of technical substitution. Then the next topic is iso-cost line. The concept of iso-cost line is similar to the budget line. Similar to the budget line. Similar to the budget line. Similar to the budget line means the iso-cost line is the budget line of a producer in terms of two inputs. Producers of in terms of two inputs. It is just like a budget line. So iso-cost line is the locus of points of all the different combinations of labor and capital that firm can employ, can given in the total cost and prices of inputs. So once again I am reading the definition, please go through it. It is the line of the locus of points of all the different combinations of labor and capital that firm can employ given the total cost and price of the output. So what is the advantage? We are estimating the total cost and as well as the prices of the inputs, different locus of the points, different combinations of labor and capital. Then isocost lines expressed as cost is equal to wage into labor plus rate into capital, where there is a wage W and R means capital is interest. So what is the C indicates? C indicates the total cost. C equal to wage into labor plus rate of interest and capital. Then what we are getting? We are getting the total cost is C. The total cost C of the firm is fixed and the amount prices are given in the isocost line gives various combinations of labor and capital. Usually the isocost line is linear with slope and equal to ratio of the factor prices. So what we are getting isocost line? It is similar to the budget line and producer in terms of the two inputs. What are that? Labor and capital. If we are using the different combinations of labor and capital, then employee giving the total cost and price of input. Then what we are getting? We are getting the total cost. And prices of inputs. Then my dear students, see the graph. The intercept in the isocost line on the capital axis, maximum amount of capital employed when labor is not used. Why? Because in the developed countries, manpower is less. So they are using the machinery power. So that's why more capital is employing. Then labor is not used in the production function. What we are calculating and how to calculate? We are calculating the cost of the total output by rate of interest. Similarly, the intercept in labor axis is given by cost of the capital by wage. And here cost of the capital by wage. So what is the C indicates? Total cost. R indicates rate of interest. So total cost by rate of interest, total cost by wage. Then we can written in the form of a equation. What is that equation? C by R by C by W. Then we can get the W by R. Then the isocost map. What are the isocost map? The isocost map is X units labor and Y units capital. You check all the points, all isocost lines. In the red line, this straight line, please check it. In this straight line, the isocost line touches both x-axis and y-axis. Then what is the inference about this particular graph? The inference of this particular graph is the set of parallel isocost line is called isocost map. The set of parallel isocost line is called isocost map. Line AB in the middle, you see dotted portions, dotted lines. In the dotted lines, clearly indicating that AB, that is the straight line curve and black curve. A to B1 is the dotted curve. A to B is the straight black curve. That is the ISO cost line. Line AB is basic ISO cost line. Then AB1 shows the rise in wage, more of labor can be acquired. What is the AB1 indicates? Rise of wage and labor can be acquired. AB2 indicates, what is the AB2 indicates? AB2 indicates the when the wage is false. When the wage is false. Wage is false. Wage ante vetanam. Same as for BA2. Please try to check the BA2 red color line. BA2 to BA1. BA2 to BA1. So this is the ISO cost line. Once again, my dear students, please understood the concept. So what is the meaning of ISO cost? The concept of ISO cost line is similar to the budget line. It is a combination of the labor and capital and employee given by the total cost and prices of the inputs. Then we are discussing about the wage into labor plus rate of interest into capital. Then we are getting the cost, total cost. Then we are getting the ISO cost curve, and each ISO cost line touches the x-axis and y-axis. So this is the inference. The ISO cost line is also called as budget line. The ISO cost line is also called as budget line. Then the next one is expansion path. What is the meaning of expansion path? Expansion path is the line formed by joining the tangency points between various ISO cost lines and the corresponding highest attainable ISO quants. What is the meaning of expansion path? It is the combination of the ISO cost line and ISO quant where the combinations are coincides. That particular point equilibrium we can call the combinations of the equilibrium points. We are getting that particular point combined together. We are getting the expansion path. It is also defined as the locus of equilibrium points of the ISO quant with lowest possible ISO cost line. With the lowest possible ISO cost line. Then graphically you see. So you all see all the black dotted lines. X-axis is labor, y-axis is capital. In the black dotted lines is ISO cost line and curve shape is ISO quant Q1 represents. Where these three combined, that means ISO quant and ISO cost, where it coincides, that coincide point we can call it as an equilibrium. We are written as a E1. Then in the middle we are written equilibrium. E2. What is the E2 and E1? When the wages are increases, the curve ISO cost curve shifted upward. When the wage reduces, the ISO cost is reduced from E to E1. So the combinations of the capital and labor where it coincides, that particular point we called it as the equilibrium. Then what is the inference? The inference of these particular expansion path is, it is a long run concept and each point on the expansion path represents the combinations of the inputs and as well as the minimizing the cost. What is the advantage? It is not only the maintaining the equilibrium, it is a minimizing the cost. The arrow from the origin shows all the cost minimizing input combinations of various levels of output the firm could produce in the long run. So what is the long run expansion path? E1, E, E2, E1, E, E2. So it is the expansion path always linear? No, it is not always linear. The slope of the expansion path depends upon the ratio of the input prices. when production function is homogeneous, then the slope of expansion path is linear. Then the slope, when production function is homogeneous, then slope of the expansion path is linear. If production function is not homogeneous, then the expansion path is not linear. So whether the expansion path is linear or non-linear means if it is homogeneous, it is a linear. If it is not homogeneous, it is not a linear. So my dear students, for examination point of view, you should know what is the meaning of expansion path definition. It is the tangency points between various isocost lines and the corresponding highest attainable isoquants. It represents the combinations of the isocost plus isoquant. This is the curve shape. Then how it is, where the coincides the equilibrium points, then that is suitable for the capital and labor for production and minimizing the cost. So this is the concept of expansion path. So my dear students, what we learned today, we learned about the two variable inputs. What we discussed? We discussed about the what we discussed? We discussed about the today isoquant, MRDS, isocost, expansion path. So my dear students, what we discussed today, we discussed about the isoquant, MRDS, isocost and expansion path. In the session 2 we have discussed. For examination point of view, all these concepts are very important. That's why we are written in the each and every diagram with suitable, what is the graph inference, what is the definitions, clearly mentioned in each and every slide with a systematic manner. My dear students, please go through the each and every slide and understood the concept very clearly and with graphical representations. Then what are the previous questions? Short answer questions. From this particular session, majorly observe the previous question papers. They asked about these 4 short answer questions. Isoquant, isocost, marginal rate of technical substitution, expansion path. Isoquant, isocost, marginal rate of technical substitution and expansion path. But in a essay type questions, out of these 4, they are asked any combined together. That means write a short note on isoquant, isocost, or write a short note on isoquant, marginal rate of substitution, or isocost, expansion path. So my dear students, clearly understood the concepts and examination point of view, very important this particular session. Thank you, my dear students.